So what's the story on a cut capo? Right? Essentially a cut capo, rather than capoing your whole guitar neck, you're only capoing a couple strings. Normally it covers 3 strings. Now, most places that I've seen people use these are they'll hold down the A, D, and G string on that 2nd fret, and what that allows you to do is get kind of a cut, like a dadgad type sound. It's in the key of E, but it allows you to play like dadgad for the most part without changing your fingering. So for example, you can still play a D chord, and it'll still sound like a D chord. But then it allows you to use those different open strings. This is mainly the way I've seen it used. But I thought, in this video, there's plenty of people that do that, and that's great. I started playing around with it and trying to figure out, well, how could I get creative with this thing? What could I use it for to inspire me? Because I don't care about making the guitar easier. I want it to be more creative, right? And so one of the things I thought about is, one of the main things that the guitar has going for it is that it has a triad on the D, G, and B. So anytime you hold down those 3 strings, it gives you a major chord. Now, combining that with the idea that the guitar has an E, an A, and another open E, which fit really well in the key of E, I thought, well, why don't I take this capo, flip it around, change the tension a little, because the guitar neck's up here, a little thicker. And now, I've got that nice triad on the top. And what that allows me to do is start playing around with bass notes, which I have full access to, while still keeping these other notes nice and high. So let's hear how that sounds. The thing that's cool is you can still hold those lower notes like you would normally play a chord, but the capo kind of does some of the work, and it changes the sound, so you can still play all your same shapes, but then the idea is to kind of build out of that. The other place that would be a nice natural fit is to capo on the 5th fret. Once again, the D, G, and B, really utilizing that triad, because what happens there is it gives us a C chord essentially. So you have the C major triad right here, but then you also have your E and your B now are the same note. So let's see what kind of things we can do with that. Once again, we're going to keep kind of very similar chord shapes. We don't have to really change anything, but having that capo there is going to give us some different tones and hopefully inspire some different ideas. You also don't have to stay below the capo. You can also work your way above, kind of utilize some of those notes while still catching your bass strings, something like this. So that's just a few things that you can do with a Cut Capo. I'm sure that you can find endless possibilities with this little guy. The one that I'm using is a Newport. It's made by G7th. You normally see me using G7th's Performance 2. Those are my favorite by far. But I actually took a sponsorship from them because I don't ever want to play any other capos. Every time I take another one, I just want to go back to my G7th. You can pick these up over at our resources page, worshipartistry.com/resources. And hopefully, you'll have a little something to inspire you this summer.